It is my pleasure in one moment. Now, this is where you fall down the stairs and do a pratfall. Oh, we missed that, sorry. Nizar and Jared from PCTV. Please welcome them both. Your tiny hands are frozen.
They are very cold.
Listen, I've just got to make a comment here. Lauren, can we, excuse me, can we, is it okay to do that? There you go. That can be for your hope chest. There you go.
Thank you.
So, now you two guys, very interesting story from both of you. PCTV, obviously we all have these days some form of computer technology at home. We sort of have to, don't we?
Yeah.
So what happens if I wasn't born in Australia and I don't speak English? How do I navigate my way through the plethora of technical information?
Well, you watch our show where we take the viewer by the hand and lead them through the digital landscape.
In which language?
Well, in English, for the most part. We made the show, I guess, originally we wanted to make a fun and entertaining show about a subject that's otherwise quite boring. And both of us work in IT, we get asked IT questions all the time, and me personally, coming from an ethnic background, I can tell you that when someone asks you a computer question and they've got English as a second language, it's not easy. So I thought if we made a program where we could show them what we were talking about, then that would go a long way further towards helping them understand what we were actually doing. And that was the genesis of the show, and I sort of just dragged Jared along with me for the ride.
So you started it.
Yep.
And your involvement is, Jared?
I'm a co-host with Nizar. We've been friends for a very long time.
But yes, I know you both co-host, but your involvement is, how do you get the stories? Where do they come from?
Mostly from questions.
Yep.
From
And how do people communicate those questions?
social media. So our editor Luigi kind of manages that for us.
That's
He's
right.
really good.
Yeah.
And
It's really good, is it?
he's really good.
Well, it's basically a three-man project. It's us two and Luigi who does all the camera work and the editing and everything else. Luigi, there you go. I mentioned your name. Like I said,
he made us promise.
And
Where is
he's not here tonight, but
Why
we
not?
couldn't do the show without him.
Well,
Absolutely.
you're doing it without him because he's not here tonight.
Well, it's not PCTV. This is late night.
Oh, well, there you go. Yes, you're right. Where do you feel this is going for people? Because clearly everything that we're getting now is becoming, in one way, sort of easier, in another way, harder. I
Yes.
just recently, for example, got the NBN connected.
Right.
And it just didn't happen the way it was supposed to happen. And
Well,
it
you're
took-
very fortunate. My connection won't be apparently happening until the end of 2018.
Well, but there you go. I get the box, I get all the stuff together, and I'm sitting in front of the screen waiting for something to happen. Nothing happens. So I ring the provider, and the provider's saying, well, we don't know what the problem is. We think it's maybe on our end. Now, if I didn't speak English and I couldn't have that communication with that provider, I would be sitting there still. How is your program sort of helping navigate people in this way, or is it just with general computer problems?
It's a bit of both. It's a bit of both, really. I mean, we try to, because there's already an assumption built in that people have a certain level of computing knowledge, which a lot of people, like
That's
you
right.
said, is specifically what you just described, they wouldn't have that level of computing knowledge. So we take it
I
back.
didn't have any level. I just sat there. Nothing happened.
Well, exactly. So we take it back to like
try to fix
basic grassroots level, and then try to explain it from that angle, from that perspective, for people that have no background in computing knowledge whatsoever.
Does some of this come in with what you do for a living, though? Does some of these
absolutely.
questions come to you from clients?
Oh yeah.
Well, you get an idea of what people don't know. And as Nizar said, it's assumptive now. You know, the younger generations just take to it. But, there's a whole world out there that we just want to get people started.
But the issue that really you're making is that if you've come from perhaps another country, or if you are of an age, and you haven't learnt computer technology as part of your education, this is like a whole new way of living, a whole new way of communication that isn't the newspaper, that isn't, 2, 7, 9 and 10, click, click, click on your TV, that we have grown up with in the last 50 years, 60 years. And so therefore, it must be very difficult. So your program is clearly important to the demographic.
Yeah, the amount of
international as well as local.
we've got we're being shown in I think one other state and New Zealand as well on their community stations. And the amount of feedback that we've also got a YouTube channel, and the amount of feedback that we get from viewers is phenomenal. We had no idea that it would become quite as popular as it has in terms of the amount of people that send us through questions
that's right.
all the time. So we actually have one specific episode every season that's called Viewer Questions, where we try to address all the questions that we never got to throughout the season.
Well, there's a lot of questions I would like to ask you, so I'd like to give you an open invitation to come onto our program called Our Time.
Malcolm, it'd
to
be our
have
pleasure.
a chat about some of those things, because we actually have often questions about that as well.
Certainly, love to.
We'd love to do that.
Particularly scams and things, because that's one of the hardest things.
It's another
that
reason
people
I
navigate.
think both of us do this,
Yeah.
because IT today is a little more insidious, and there's a lot of scammers, and you know, we need to train, not be totally paranoid and suspicious all the time, but just check a few things.
Yeah, make sure that people are mindful of what they're doing while they're online. And that's why actually we also have a security special every season, one specific episode where we talk about security-related items throughout the entire episode.
That's what we need to hear. That's really what we need to hear about. So, Nizar and Jared, thank you so much.
No worries.
BCTV, huge clapping. Stay with us.
Thank you.
Now, are we going to see a clip, Lauren, of Carlotta? Is that right? I just before we do go, I'd really like to, I know it's already been said in the previous hour, but this lady who's been running Channel 44, along with two other gentlemen who are the three main people that make the whole thing happen, have done such a brilliant job arranging this whole thing tonight, and the volunteers that are part of this tonight. It's just you guys that are left in the audience, we'd really love you to give everyone that's worked on the program a huge round of applause. Thank you, gentlemen.